Alright gamers, what's going on? Insanity coming at you. Welcome to my PlayStation 4 HDCP bypass setup video for all of you brand new PlayStation 4 owners out there that want to go ahead and showcase your best quality footage from your brand new PlayStation 4, and you're a little upset because you probably can't use your HDMI capture card that you spent all your hard-earned money on, and that's where this video is really going to come into play and really help you guys out. So, without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and showcase what used to work first, because the PlayStation 3 also had HDCP with HDMI and you couldn't capture because of it. And the device that everyone used, let me go ahead and start moving stuff around so you can kind of see what happens here. Alright, holding the camera now, which really sucks. Here is the Swell or C-Well 1:2 HDMI splitter that worked wonders on the PlayStation 3. If you have this little bad boy and you're planning on using this to capture your HDMI footage from your PlayStation 4, you're going to be sadly mistaken. Only because when I tried and hooked this bad boy up, it tried to notice that it was trying to scramble that HDCP. The Elgato just wasn't having it. It was saying, sorry bud, this is definitely copyright protected by HDCP and you're not going to be able to capture your PlayStation 4 because of it. So, this little guy, if you have one, you know, great, hang on to it if you want to go ahead and hook up your PlayStation 3 or whatever else you want to use with it that it works with, great. No longer something you can use for the PlayStation 4. Now, I'm going to go ahead and showcase another scene here. I have this open in XSplit. Here you go. Here is my PlayStation 4. It is running right now, live as I speak. Here is my DualShock 4. Beautiful little DualShock 4. You know, I can hit left, I can hit right, I can do whatever. I can press that PlayStation button, go back into Killzone. And pretty much that's what everybody's looking for. They want to be able to go ahead and showcase their PlayStation 4 on their program of choice, whether it be OBS, XSplit, or even the actual, you know, softwares that are included with the Elgato or AverMedia or the Hauppauge HD PVR2. Just something that allows you to use your HDMI capture cards because it's what you paid for and it's what you want to use. So, here we go. Let me go ahead and showcase this right now. This is how I have everything set up to make sure it works for you, and you can follow the same steps, and I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description for the device that I'm using to make sure you get the right thing. Let me go ahead and switch this camera view back over. Here we go. Alright. So here is my PlayStation 4. I purposely chose the horizontal stance of the system because that black bar is probably going to block the ports and it's going to bend the cables, and I don't want to break anything that I have with this bad boy. I'd be really, really upset. Now, when it comes to the device itself that does all the heavy lifting of the HDCP, it's right here. It's the Monoprice HDMI converter. I really wish this thing would autofocus. It's just really hard. This is a webcam I'm using, by the way, guys. The Monoprice HDMI converter, where it takes DVI signal and converts it over to HDMI. So I'm going to go cable by cable in the back to go ahead and show you guys how I have this thing set up and what it does exactly. Alright guys, so over here on the PlayStation 4 itself, I have the one cable that is HDMI on one side, DVI on the other. HDMI is going from the output of the PlayStation 4. The DVI is this big white block that plugs into the back of the converter. That is the DVI cable, or the DVI portion of the HDMI DVI cable. I have the optical out cable, which is that silver cable right next to it. Silver cable right here for the audio. So now what's going to happen is the converter box is going to take the signal of DVI and the optical signal and create it like as if it's one cable for HDMI. So you have that audio signal, you have your video signal. Now, the converter box will do all of its magic, get rid of the HDCP, because once HDCP hits DVI, it's basically gone. HDCP can only survive through HDMI signal. So once it hits that DVI, you're set, you're ready to go. The main thing is if you try and hook this up through just a standard cable without anything extra, it's not going to work. So if you try and do a cable with HDMI on one side, DVI on the other, and then just try and use an adapter to change it back to HDMI, it's not going to be good enough. It has to go through this converter in order for it to get scrambled. Now, the green HDMI cable right here, which hopefully it focuses, it may not. There we go. Green HDMI cable is going to be headed straight into my Elgato down here. That is the HDMI in on my Elgato. So now it has a video source and an audio source, which goes straight into HDMI to the Elgato. That black HDMI cable on the other side is the HDMI out, which goes way over to my PlayStation 4 monitor right here. I can jump back into Killzone. I can jump back out. I can do whatever. It is live, like I said. See? DualShock 4 is on. And of course, last but not least, is that black cable next to the green HDMI, which is another optical cable, which feeds on over into my Astro A40 mix amp. That way I can still use my Astros. The Astros do work on the PlayStation 4, by the way. I've already tested, already used it. Great stuff. Thank you, Astro, for making that happen. Now all we need is an adapter for the Xbox One, and we're good to go. Now, with all this, with this working correctly, everything and every single cable hooked up correctly, you're going to be able to get a video feed just like what I have. You're going to be able to go ahead and change your scene over. Boom. You have your PlayStation 4 in the background. No HDCP problems. You're going to be able to run it in your program of choice, whether it be OBS, XSplit, the actual Game Capture HD, capture software, the AverMedia, REC Central programs, the Hauppauge programs, anything. It's going to work just fine because there is no more HDCP problems. You're going to be able to do this for yourself. You're not going to have to use the whole share function of the PlayStation 4 and try and stream whatever. It's not necessary any longer. It's awesome. It's great. You're going to be able to have the quality of what your fans deserve. And if you enjoy this video, guys, and if you are planning on using my setup, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description so you can go ahead and pick up the Monoprice HDMI converter that takes DVI to HDMI, so you can go ahead and start doing this as soon as possible. I'm Insanity, guys. Be sure to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.